All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This is Keith Varian. It's just 7 o'clock, so great work, crew, on that. I will call to order the November 9th meeting of the Golf Commission. Take a quick attendance here. I think everybody's on, though. I think I heard. Liam, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Awesome. Paul?
Yes, I'm on.
All right. Peter Seacrest? Oh, I heard him, but now he must be muted.
No, I don't see him anymore.
Oh. All right, we'll move on. Mike Feinstein?
I'm here.
All right. Priscilla?
I'm here.
Christine?
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, Peter is unmuted now.
Yeah,
right.
I was here.
Peter, you back?
I was here the whole time. Can you hear? Good to be back.
Gotcha.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. All right. I'm going to waive the Pledge of Allegiance because we are remote. And before we get to the agenda, I do want to just go over the ground rules that are in place again here. As everybody knows, this is a meeting of the Town of Fairfield Golf Commission. And as such, we are bound by the rules put into place by the Town of Fairfield for boards and commissions. And since the town has been conducting these meetings remotely for the last 7 months or so, it has been handling public comment differently than it has for the live meetings. Like always, the public comment is continued to be encouraged, and I encourage everybody to reach out to anybody on the Golf Commission. But with that said, the town does have a rule in place for no live public comment during meetings of boards and commissions, including the Golf Commission. It's on our agenda, and we go over it each meeting. Again, it doesn't mean that the public doesn't have input. It just means that there is no live comment during our meetings. In our last meeting, in the special meeting, we had 2 members of the public who knew this rule and intentionally broke it. It was unfortunate. They know who they are, we know who they are. And frankly, they should be embarrassed by their behavior. Since then, crew has been instructed by the IT department on how to prevent that from happening again, because again, this is a rule in place for all boards and commissions, and no matter how important somebody thinks their comment is, we have to follow these rules. So all I ask is that each person act with professionalism and civility, even when they disagree with the outcome of a vote. We need to respect the commission. We need to respect the rules. And I'm hopeful that we don't have to have this situation again going forward. So with all of that said, and I apologize for rambling there a bit, with all of that said, let's go to the agenda now. First item is to act on the minutes for 3 of our previous meetings, the October 14th, 19th, and 26th meetings. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I will make a motion. This is Priscilla.
And Paul, I'll second.
Great. Any comment, any revisions to them? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Keith, it's
Any
Paul.
noes?
I understand we're... Oops, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, real quick. Let me just finish the vote. Any noes? All right. Any abstentions? No. Okay. Passed unanimously. Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
So we have the 1028, and I understand from Prue that there were some open items. That's the real critical one because that's the one that a lot of comments are being made about what took place, and I wanted to be sure that when we do publish it, the words that you made and the words that I made prior to making the motion go into the minutes. Can you tell me what's going on with the 10:28 minutes?
So I have seen a draft of them. I gave a couple comments to Prue. Prue, you tell me where those are at this point. Maybe she hard muted herself.
She's probably muted.
Oh my God, sorry. So I did change them as you had advised, and I sent them to the town clerk, and I did not send them to the committee because I thought the commission, because I thought we were waiting to hear from somebody else.
Okay. Well, we'll include them on the next one. Paul, they'll go out in advance with the agenda, so you will see them before the meeting. You'll have a chance to take a look at them to make sure that they match what you said.
Yeah. So actually I sent it to Prue, but they had already gone out in draft form. So I just wanted to make sure that we had agreement that I had notes I was reading off of, so I at least had those to send back to her.
Perfect. Good. All right. You'll get them shortly.
Thank you.
All right. First, the pros report. Jim, are you on?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
Steve, I am here.
Great.
Yep.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
So the report, you guys have all the numbers there. We're up almost 2,000 rounds at Smith this last month, up almost 2,000 at par 3. Smith is up 4,500 rounds on the year. I believe par 3 is over 3,000 rounds for the year. And if you look at the bottom line of the revenue, we're over 300,000 for the year in golf revenue. I have nothing further.
Great. All right. Any questions for Jim? All right. Anthony, are you on?
Yep, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. The only thing to report right now, outside of the Clubhouse update, is we just held a hole-in-one contest down at the par 3 this past Saturday. It was a gorgeous day, 120 or so participants. Brought in a lot of food. I don't know the total tonnage on it, but it was a good amount that was donated to Operation Hope, and it was just great time down at the par 3 golf course. So it was a good weekend there.
Great. Yeah, and as you know, I played. I did not get a hole-in-one. Which I was bummed out about. But it was great. It was just such a beautiful day. Really, really lucked out, and looked like a lot of fun for everybody. So thank you for putting that on.
Yep.
All right. Superintendent report. Peter, are you on?
He just muted himself. Yeah. Peter. I had already unmuted you. There you go. Peter?
Uh-oh.
He's not. All right. I don't know what's happening, but he's muting himself. Peter, you don't have to mute yourself.
While Peter's being unmuted, I wanted to congratulate Peter. I'm sure he can hear me. He was cutting grass today.
Yes.
All right.
Hello.
There we go.
Peter,
Hi,
Peter, I wanted to congratulate you for your cutting of the grass today. He was on one of those machines going up and down fairways. I thought he was excellent.
Good work.
What did you spraying the greens this morning then?
I missed that.
Yeah, well, I did the fairways after I sprayed the greens. Anyway, a lot of things going on here. Everything is great on my side. I just I'm caught in the middle of everything else that's going on. But as far as the golf course, the play is crazy up here. The weather is beautiful, and we just try and take care of all the leaves right now.
Yeah, the new teas are looking good.
They'll be even better as we go along. Am I still unmuted? Did I kill myself again?
No, you're good. You're good. Do you think you'll have any issue with the sod on the new teas since it's November, or still within the good time frame?
No, it was right now. Everything's beautiful. It's
perfect.
Everything's fine.
Great. No, they look great. I'm really happy to see them coming along. Well, we can move from that right over to the Greens Committee report then.
I just want to say one thing that I would like. The Connecticut Superintendents Association has asked me, and well, actually, I volunteered ourselves, if it's all right with all you people, that all the superintendents come in September of 2021 for a meeting here in the a meeting here.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to show off the new building and the course and all your good work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, keep us updated. Let us know when it's happening.
The Monday after Labor Day of 2021.
Perfect. Good. That sounds great. All right, Priscilla?
All right. Well, I was able to play Smith on Saturday, and I concur with Peter. The course looks terrific. The tees look great. They're coming along. I'm so happy that 9 actually got expanded as well as resodded, and the forward tee on 6 looks great. And fairways are good. Greens are good. Course looks great, Peter. I know your guys are out there. Eddie and the guys are working hard, and it shows. And I was able to play the par 3 today, and the par 3 looks phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. It's in great shape, and there were a lot of people out there, and everybody was very, very happy with it. So all is good on the Fairfield golf courses.
That's great. I'm glad that you're happy with the tees. They look really good.
They look really good.
That's great news.
So Thank you. Yep, the guys are working hard on them.
Great. Anything else for anybody else in the commission? Any questions or comments for the Greens Committee report?
I just have one comment, and it's really more of a question for Peter. Obviously, winter is a good time to remove trees, and we need the town arborist to kind of approve all that. What's the process, Peter, for us as a golf commission and you as a golf course superintendent to engage the town relative to that winter tree removal that you have attempted to do in the past and sometimes had some resistance?
It's right now, after the storm on Monday, when a tree came across and we lost power for 8 hours at the maintenance building, the tree warden is behind us. He understands. He's way behind. I got people lined up to come in. The big question is, which I don't know who you want to sit down with and talk to, or you just want to rely on me. Where do you start? I mean, there's 40 trees that got to come down on the first hole. There's 40 trees that got to come down on the second hole. I mean, it's where do you want to start? Where do you want to end? And when we have the time to do it, it is a big question. Where do you want to start? Where do you want? But as far as the town, the tree warden agrees with me that we're just overgrown. There's too many trees and dead trees. So where do you start? Where do you want to begin? I have an idea, but then again...
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Peter, this is Keith. If you could propose what you would suggest we do, I think we all have thoughts on the trees, but you're the one who I want to hear from. And so Paul, it was a great comment. I was actually going to wait till the next meeting when to address this, but I think it makes sense to do it now. I'd love to see what your thoughts are on, sort of a tree plan for the off season and which trees in which order should come down. And then if you can get that to us, we can look at that. And again, it doesn't have to be anything formal. I'm not looking for, anything that takes a lot of time here.
Yeah, because I'm going to sit down. Well, I think Anthony and I, and we're all sitting down for the budgets coming up on November 17th, let alone the tree work that's got to be done. I mean, I need new equipment, and there's a lot of things involved. And I appreciate the support of the Golf Commission because I need new equipment up here. We can't just keep going on the stuff we've been going on. And
absolutely,
Anthony and I are meeting on the 17th, and I'll explain to him what I need, and he knows what I need, and yada yada yada. He'll bring it to you guys, and hopefully we'll get your back. Obviously, we'll get your back.
Yeah.
So on the trees, my only comment is one hole at a time. We should really make beautification of a hole at a time. Whatever hole, Peter, you think is the right place to start, we go at it. Fix up a hole, go to the next one, so that the public can really see the impact.
Every time I go to one hole, I say, yeah. And then I go to another hole, I'm like, oh, my God. It's just, it's a tough call. I mean, there's a bunch of trees on 7, cart paths on 7. We have money for cart paths. We'll get a plan together. That's what we need to do with Anthony, and we're meeting, and we'll get a plan together, present it to all of you people, and you can say yay or nay.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And then Keith, the second thing that he mentioned for the newer members of the golf committee, we've been talking about this for a long time. Peter has needed new equipment, and it's got bumped a couple of times because of town budget issues, et cetera. So when we do the budget for next year, we should really make sure that sufficient funds are put in there for him to start replacing some of this equipment that was supposed to be replaced a while back and kind of got bumped because of budget restraints.
Okay, I couldn't agree with you more. I think now is a great time. It's a bit, you'll get some pushback from people sort of outside from this call because, we spent a lot of money on the new clubhouse, but I think it means that with the new clubhouse, we need to upgrade all of our facilities. And so I think, and especially now with sort of this, I don't really want to say new focus, but on this, larger focus on golf, both, locally and nationally, it's the right time. And I couldn't agree more that it's time to get new equipment in there so that we can really keep the course in the condition it deserves to be in. So, Peter, you will certainly get support from us.
Yeah, and revenues are up substantially, so it's not like we're asking for money that we're not contributing.
Anthony, we get all that extra money, right? That's the way the budget process works?
Yeah, I wish.
But hopefully it gives us some consideration when we're asking for new equipment. Oh. All right. But yeah, I think, Peter, you're going to hear that you'll get a lot of support from the commission. So hopefully it works out.
Thank you.
All right. Anthony, you want to give us an update on the clubhouse?
Yep. I'll give you the brief update. So we are about 3 weeks away from completing the building. A lot of the final touches are being completed now. Paving will start this Wednesday. It was supposed to be tomorrow. I guess it got delayed a day. So they're going to pave on Wednesday, most likely stripe on Thursday. And then they'll come back in the spring to finish the paving. So there shouldn't be really any downtime for the golf operation, especially I think the weather's calling for a little bit of rain anyway the next few days. But it'll be nice to get that out of the way. Other than that, I mean, if you haven't been up to the clubhouse, I highly recommend you get up there and see the progress. I was up there this morning. It's just absolutely stunning. So.
Yeah, that's great. And when they do the paving now, what will the striping look like in November versus in the spring?
It should look very similar to what the other side of the parking lot looks like now, because I believe when they come in, they'll end up redoing everything. So
that's what I mean. So in other words, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do we know how long the course will be closed for when they do the parking lot?
It won't be closed at all, to my knowledge.
Oh, good. Okay, that's a lot better than what was it before, the 2 weeks or whatever. So the good.
Yeah, they wanted to do everything. They were talking about doing everything in one shot, and now they're not. They're breaking it up between now and spring. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
But when we do it in the spring, though, that's going to impact the golf operations.
Potentially, yeah. It'll just depend on when they do it.
Right.
And they're also paving part of the driving range. I know I get a lot of complaints about the driving range. They're going to pave the straightaway as you pull into the driving range, starting tomorrow as well. And then I'm going to try to get them to finish the rest of it up near the actual range itself in the spring. So, again, just something that's been on the to-do list that's just way overdue.
Right. That's great. Okay. Well, that's a good update. Glad to hear that it's moving along. All right, let's go to golf rates. Back in 2018, I actually wasn't on the commission yet, but working with the building committee, the golf commission and the building committee put together a couple different rate plans looking out about 8 years once the new clubhouse was built, and the golf commission ultimately adopted a plan which has been followed for the 2018, 2019, and 2020 seasons. The specific intent when it was adopted in October of 2018 was to follow that plan. However, what the Golf Commission then said was they would leave it up to each future Golf Commission to have an opt-out, if you will, to not be handcuffed by that if conditions or reasons changed for following that plan. At this point, I would recommend that we continue with that plan, which means a $2 increase at Smith and no increase at the par 3. I don't see any reason not to follow this plan at this point. So curious if the people who are on the commission then have any additional thoughts on it, or anybody.
I was on the commission at that point, and no, I agree. The only thing that we might want to consider is the fact that we've brought in so much money and so much revenue this year is to cut the increase and do it by 1. But I understand the $2 increase, and that's what we agreed on at that point. So,
Priscilla, I also was on the commission, and I agree with you 100% that, if people on the commission are open to 1 versus 2, I just don't want to kill the golden goose. We've had such a great year that, maybe some people would look at 2 as a bit of a bite, even though we gave a year with no increase. But whatever the sense of the commission is, I'm good.
This is Mike here. I saw the proposal and I looked at some of the neighboring public courses, specifically Tashua and Longshore, and even with the $2 increase, it looks like we're basically right in line, and even maybe I think slightly, within $1 or $2. I think maybe I'm still slightly on the lower end if I recall. So, if that was the original intent, I don't really see a reason why not to continue that, especially since we're in line with neighboring courses.
Mike, I had a hard time hearing you at that point, at what you just said.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I don't know if anybody else has the same problem, but you were a bit muffled.
I heard him, but go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I was saying when I looked at it, I looked at some of the neighboring courses, specifically Tashua and Longshore, at their rates, And even with the $2 increase, it looked like we were still right in line, and I think just slightly below with the two of them, those two courses offer. So if that was the original intent to raise it by $2, I don't really see a reason not to. Certainly, when you consider, compare it to the local courses.
Okay.
Christine.
Yep.
So I agree that we should keep what the commission decided. Just because we had a good year this year, we also want to do a lot of work around the club, and I think $2 does make sense for what the other area public golf courses charge.
This is Peter. I'm going to echo what everybody else says. I don't have too much to add. We obviously decided not to increase last year because we didn't really have a clue. We didn't really have a feeling of what play would be like with all the construction going on. Obviously, none of us could foresee what was going to happen with COVID. But I think it makes sense to stick with the plan. The plan was put in place before COVID. I think any revenue generated, hopefully we can put that back into the course, or additional revenue generated. So I'm going to vote to approve based on the two, if that's put up.
Yeah, and I think I do want to say too that the two is since the plan was adopted and discussed back in 2018. Those figures were calculated into the projected revenue and the debt service on the bonds for the clubhouse. So again, I think, this is my point of view, but I think if, unless there's a reason, the fact that we had surplus cash this year from additional rounds, that money will not be applied, if you will, to future years. It's going to be swept by the town and put into the general fund, I would assume, and next year is next year. And so hopefully we continue with exceeding the rounds expectations and have surplus cash. But we need to make sure that we meet the revenue projections, and that is based on a $2 increase. So again, I think for all the reasons we said, that would be where I am. But I understand the points that Paul and Priscilla are making. I do want to give Jim a chance. Jim, I know you were part of these conversations as well. Curious what your thoughts are. Maybe he's muted.
Yeah, he muted himself. I can see if I can unmute him. No, I can't.
Jim, we can't hear you if you're talking. All right. All right. Well, Jim, if you have comments, we'll come back.
I think he muted himself.
All right, so you're going to have to...
This is Liam. I can give my comments on this, too. I think that that the $2 plan is good. I think it keeps us in line with what we sort of were planning for the building committee. For the building as well, the reduction would be nice. Maybe people have some financial strain or something in the year of COVID and everything like that. But, it does seem like the rounds are up and the revenues are there. So I don't think it's too much of a strain. Additionally, if we are going to go to the Board of Finance or look for some extra money for Peter for equipment, it's not probably going to be good if we reduce rates, which will reduce revenue. I think that it's definitely a good idea to stick to the plan.
All fair points.
Hey, Keith, this is Mike. Has there been any talk or any update about cart fees for next year? Or are those planning on staying the same?
I believe those are staying the same. I mean, I don't see a proposal or a portion of this proposal changing that. Is anybody aware of any change? I was not proposing a change in the cart fees. Anybody aware of that?
When we got the new carts, there was a plan in terms of increasing the cart revenue that hopefully Jim or someone in the minutes you can find. But we've only had the carts for 2 years, and I know there was a plan to increase.
That's correct. Paul's correct. There's currently no plan to increase carts. We did increase them when we went with the new fleet. I can't remember what it was, but I think we jumped $2 or something a cart. So it was a pretty significant jump.
So we'll leave those flat this year.
That was my intent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was my understanding as well. Same with the par 3.
Correct.
All right. Jim, are you unmuted?
No.
All right. Well,
but I can't unmute him because he did it himself.
No worries.
Oh, there he goes.
This is Jim.
Oh, great. Hey, Jim.
Yeah. You were like a comment on which facet there, the green fees or the cart fees?
Wanted to get your thoughts on, it sounds like we're all sort of relatively in agreement on sticking with the $2 increase for 2021, but just wanted to get your thoughts on it, too, before we voted.
Yeah, that was the Golf Commission back in 2018 made it explicitly clear that they were going to hold tight while the building was being built, seeing we didn't know what was going to happen for this year, and they did plan on going $2 once the building was completed. I don't think there's any discussion on the carts. I can't tell you they're 3 years old. They're not 2 years old. So I don't think there's been an increase in cart fees over the last 3 years. And you're also going to have the issue of single passenger carts to deal with again, too. I don't think that's going away. So just
agreed.
Food for thought for you guys.
Yeah, I would probably say let's leave the cart fees where they are and do the $2 increase. All right. Well, unless there's anything more from anybody, I will entertain a motion to approve the $2 increase and to continue to follow this rate proposal going forward. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the proposal to increase the rates this year in accordance with the 2018 suggestion from the building committee.
Great.
This is Christine. I'll second that.
All right. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any noes? Any abstentions? All right. Passes unanimously.
I do have a question. Was that from 2018, was that from the building committee or the golf commission?
It was a suggestion from the building committee.
Okay.
Right, that was adopted by the golf commission.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So we got a request from Fairfield Country Day to have some tea times for their middle school team. And while conceptually that sounds great, the other Fairfield middle schools played their matches at the par 3, and that's where Fairfield Country Day was looking to have some tea times, was at the par 3 in the spring. And this year, the Fairfield public middle schools did not play their season in the fall like they had done previously. And so what I think makes sense here is to find out what the plan is for the other middle schools in town and if they are planning to do a season in the spring, which I think they are. So if that's the case, I would like to. Well, first of all, I would like to do for Fairfield Country Day what we do for the other middle schools, but I think we need to coordinate that so that each team is able to have sort of similar privileges at the course, while also not impacting too dramatically the tee sheet at the course. So I asked Jim; he had not heard from any of the middle schools yet. Anthony, have you heard from any of the other middle schools?
Keith, while you're waiting for Anthony, we also have to remember that the high school, the JV practices, and matches, I believe, are also at the par 3. So we have to take that into consideration, too.
Hey,
yep.
Keith, this is Jim again, too. There is a private school that plays down there at St. Thomas, which is in town.
Yeah, they're one of them.
They do. Yep. Yeah, they pay greens fees. So I think they're, if you're considering Fairfield Country Day, I think it's probably got to be the same setup as St. Thomas. They do pay their greens fees when they come. They don't play free golf like the Fairfield public schools do.
Yep. All right. Yeah, it's funny because I actually think the other middle schools play St. Thomas there in matches. So it's interesting that St. Thomas pays the green fees, but I don't think that, right to your point, the public ones don't.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they play matches. I think it's more of just an inter-school kind of thing where they don't compete against each other. It's a golf program more than a competitive schedule.
They certainly played other schools, and my son was on it last year, and he played other schools. So I don't, but I'd have to confirm if it was the private schools. I thought it was as well. It could have just been the 3 public middle schools, but you're right. We need to figure out. So really, my point on this item is, I just want to understand what each of these schools is looking for in the spring, and then we can coordinate it better. We don't have to decide anything today. So I will work with Anthony and reach out to these schools and figure out what their plan is for the spring, and then we as a golf commission can decide how to handle each of them in the spring.
Yeah, and for what I understand, that the middle schools, the public middle schools, would play against each other there, but then the St. Thomas school would just play by themselves. They would go out and practice and then do inter-squad, matches there. But again, you have to also take in consideration the girls' JV. Both schools, their program is down there.
Yep. All right. I'm just writing this down. All right, we'll find out what all these schools are doing in terms of playing or not playing in the spring, because right now it's, high school sports are up in the air in a lot of different categories. So we'll find out what the plan is, although it could change dramatically here in the next month or so.
Right now, the Public Health Department for Connecticut just came out and say golf is a low-risk sport, and at this point, they're going to be able to get the go-ahead. But as you're right, it could change in the next couple of months.
Oh, that's good news, though.
Yeah, it is good news.
I just want to make sure that we're consistent across all the schools, and if there is a differentiation between public and private, or public and non-public. If we have a policy for one non-public school, we should probably have it the same policy for all of them, or maybe we vote and have the same policy for all the schools.
Yep.
The other thing is that there's also UNCLA that's in town too, so I don't know if they have a program or anything like that. So it's another town school as well.
But yeah, Liam, that's my point. Is I want to understand what the needs are, and then we can adopt a policy, either comprehensive for all or split between public and non-public. But I think let's see what the needs are first, and then we can discuss it. But I completely agree.
And if I could just put one thing out there in terms of, I don't know what we do at St. Thomas, but it would seem to me that any town resident should be treated the same, whether they're in a public or private school. And non-town residents should probably be treated the same way. Just keep that in consideration from the town perspective. that would be my only input on that.
Okay. Well, that's actually interesting. I hadn't thought about it in that way, but that's interesting. All right, so let's see what we get, and then we can talk about it. All right. We have our very own Peter Seacrest, who's going to be talking with Peter. Will your wife Karen be speaking with you as well on this?
No, unfortunately, you're stuck with just me.
We got the B team. Oh man! All right.
I haven't made the B team in a long time.
Well, the quick summary is Peter is going to be presenting on a garden that will be installed near the 10th tee. So, Peter, why don't you tell us about the fund and your plan for the garden?
Sure. And well, thank you. And I think Keith sent everybody a little blurb about what the fund's proposing to do, and an illustration on what sort of initial thinking has been, and I'll try and fill some of that in. So why don't I start off with just giving sort of a background on what the Tucker Fund is. Tucker was our son who passed away in 2017. We started this fund as a way of preserving his memory for family and friends. And when we thought about what we wanted to do as far as a fundraiser and what we want to do with funds, we came up with a plan of giving the money to the Fairfield Conservation Committee to help maintain and improve the open space in Fairfield, which was something Tucker really loved. He loved going around, taking our dogs on Lake Mohegan, going to the beach, hiking around. So we thought that was really a great fit for the fund and for his memory and for helping out the town, which we all love. So then we had to figure out how we were going to raise funds. So another thing Tucker loved was his pals, his buddies. He had a huge group of friends. So we decided to have a party. And each June, the past couple of Junes, unfortunately not this year, we had a cornhole tournament in our backyard. We have like 250 people. We have I think like 5 cornhole board things. So there's a lot of competition going on. There's a lot of beer and there's a pizza truck. So it's amazing how many people you get to come over for beer and pizza. But so anyway, so the first 2 events we raised $15,000 the first year, and that money went toward establishing a Pollinator Meadow, which is literally just adjacent to the right to a slice where a lot of my golf balls on the driving range go. If you drive up that beautiful driveway into the driving range, and just as you kind of get in to the right, there's like a little, it's hard to even call it a parking lot, but you'll see cars there, and there's a little house in there, and you go back up around there, and there's a field back there. And so the town wanted to fix this field up in a way. It's filled with, like lots of places are, with sort of non-native grasses and non-native plants, and it was really just kind of a mess. So the idea was to kind of clear all that out, and that's what's been going on for the past couple of years, is get rid of all this stuff that's back there, and then plant it with native species. And the idea is that then you get the bees back and the birds back and the butterflies back, and you start to begin the process of revitalizing the open space. So that was the first event, or the first donation. Then we had the second year, we raised $18,000. And so part of that money, a small part, is going to build, the town acquired some wetlands and I'm not going to do a great job explaining where this is, but if you know where like Tequila Revolution is, or the hardware store kind of on Post Road, like where Dairy Queen is,
yep.
Back toward the beach. We kind of go back towards the beach. There's a big open space, kind of wetlands back there, and so they wanted to build a bird blind so people could go back and check things out. And part of both of these also is to encourage the elementary schools and the middle schools to incorporate this into some of their education, whether it's science or ecology or environmentalism. So anyway, so those are the two current projects. We're also hoping to fund some purchase of there's some land that's available that's sort of adjacent to open space where there's just a little piece missing. So we're hoping over time to help fund those type of things. So, but when my my wife knew about obviously the new project up at the course, and said, well, that would be a great place for a garden. Why don't we do that? And I said, I guess you could. I don't know. So when she has an idea in her head, it just happens. Things just happen. So she took the bull by the horns and contacted the building committee and the landscape architect, I think Peter. And anyway, so they went up there, and I don't know if any of you know Mary Hogue. She's involved with it too.
Yes.
They went up there and came up with a plan to, kind of build out and create some, garden and just make that area a lot nicer than it is right now. And so the plan is, and I am not involved in any. I am not involved in any planning. So the stuff will probably grow, but they've already kind of figured out or started to figure out what they're going to put back there. And the idea is perennial plants. I barely know what a perennial plant is, and sort of natural plantings and vegetation back there, because obviously they know that Peter and his crew are way too busy to concentrate on some of these things, and so the idea would be to have things grow there that don't need a lot of maintenance. But we're going to we're giving $8,000 or $9,000 to this, and that'll pay for planting and maintenance, and hopefully we can get it to the point where it's a little more self-sustaining. The landscape architect's going to donate, and I'm sure Karen and Mary and some of the other people that are going to be involved with this are going to twist the arms and break the knuckles on some people to get to fund some of the planting and some of the things that are going to eventually go in there. So that is sort of what's happening. I will say there's I forgot to share with you guys a link of the initial project, and it kind of explains what a Pollinator Meadow is. And the idea is that you kind of create sort of like a hopscotch path of like these meadows that kind of go through the town. So the wildlife and bees can bees are, we all know how important bees are and the issues that they're having, can kind of do a lot better. And if we can create this kind of stuff through town, maybe we can create a little bit of better environment in our community. So, it's a fund that is funded by Fairfielders for the most part. I mean, quite honestly, there's people that are giving money to this thing all over the world, literally. But it's, it's primarily Fairfielders for Fairfield. So, we're really proud of it, and, we're hoping to continue to do a lot more work in the community as time goes on. As long as people like beer and pizza, we'll continue to raise money. So that's kind of it.
That's great. And what a great cause, and I couldn't be more supportive for this. And I'm just so happy that you want to, and your wife wants to, work with us at Smith. So Any questions for Peter?
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's just a great tribute to your son. So absolutely, I think it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, sounds great.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Great idea.
This is Peter. I've been in contact with Mary Hogue, not Peter's wife, but we're going to take a look around and see what we can do. Whether it's around the 10th tee, there's a lot of things that got to be done, and I'm going to work with Mary and Mr. Seacrest, and whether it is at the 10th tee or not will be another story. But there's plenty of places out there to take care of this project.
Yeah, Peter, that's a great thought, and I think and when I say we, it's Karen, is I think open to anything, and I think where there's even Mary came up with this. There's this I don't know, some organization that we might be able to even get matching funds of up to like $7,000. So we would love it over time if it could sort of expand. You do something here and you do something there on the whatever it's on the 6th or 9th or 12th. I think over time it would be great if we could kind of pretty up the places as we go along.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about the funding. The funding is awesome, but I just think just doing it out of the town budgets. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, and I'm all for it. And we'll take, like I said, Mary said she was out of town until after Veterans Day, and we come up and we'll meet and we'll take a look at a lot of places on this golf course.
Right.
All right. I'm not sure I need to actually. I'm not sure we're voting on anything. I think, if anything, we may need to vote on accepting the money for a garden. So accepting the funds from the Tucker funds, and I'm sure Peter, Karen, Mary will work with the landscape architect and find the appropriate place and find a great way to use the funds to put together a garden. So I will entertain a motion to accept the funds from the Tucker funds for a garden, either at the 10th tee or if a more appropriate place is selected, a more appropriate place.
I'll make a motion. This is Priscilla.
Great. I will second it. It's Mike.
Awesome. So I think I know the outcome of this vote, but all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? Well, again, Peter, thank you very much. What a great idea, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. And it looks like this would get installed in the spring, so I'm sure we'll be hearing more about it over the coming months. So again, thank you.
Great. Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Actually, last is just to follow up on the head pro decision. We've already talked about most of it. I think, I'm not sure if Gerald's on or not, but as you know, the Board of Selectmen approved our recommendation, and the contract with Bob Bigonette is being finalized today. I'm not sure if it was finalized, but I think they were pretty close today. If Gerald's on, he can give us a quick update. If not, I think that is the update, is that we're pretty close. It may have even been signed today. All right. Andy, do you have any, do you know?
Yeah, I don't believe Gerald is on. It has not been finalized, but should be first thing tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Good.
And they want to get to...
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have, everybody. Anything else? Oh, actually, communications. We did receive an email from Bob Gorman. He wanted to salute Peter Grace. He said the course looks great. He had a couple comments about working on replacing divots, raking bunkers, and fixing ball marks on the greens. He also acknowledged that these are sort of typical issues that all golf courses, in particular municipal golf courses, are faced with. So I think what I will do is reach out to Peter, and then, in the spring we can figure out before the season opens about if there's another way that we can sort of make a renewed focus on people fixing their ball marks, fixing their divots going forward, knowing that, never going to be perfect, but we can see if we can make it a little bit better out there.
Keith, it's
That's
Paul.
It. Anybody else? Please.
Yeah, I that hit a point with me when I read the letter today, and I believe that in our February meeting we should put it on the agenda. There's a lot of ideas out there, and I think we should pursue that. I remember way back when Brendan Walsh was the pro at Patterson, he had a fix one or two plus your own, and there were certain things you could do and put it in the golf carts. We can talk about it during the winter months, but I think it's a great point. I was out there today, and there were a lot of unfixed ball marks from the weekend, and they take their toll on the greens over the course of time.
Yep. Agreed. No, I think that's a good idea. Prue, will you remember to keep that on? We'll put it on for the February agenda.
Sure.
Great. All right. Anything else from anybody? All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Peter.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Prue.
Bye.
And
everybody.
I will be talking to you.
Have a great rest of the night. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.